Okay, hey everyone. This is the September 5th, 2017 MicroProfile Live Hangout. And today's agenda, we've got 3 items so far. One is MicroProfile 1.2 status. The next is a Java 1 Java EE MicroProfile event, just kind of a status there. And the last one is a MicroProfile roadmap discussion. So those are the 3 bullets. So I guess maybe, I don't know, Kevin, if you want to lead the MicroProfile 1.2 status, are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'll kick it off, and not seeing a whole lot of different participants today, so I don't know how much we'll get on the component status, but we're making good progress with the content of MicroProfile 1.2. Every one of the components that are going into 1.2 have at least one release candidate, so that's good. So that ball is moving. We also are on schedule for a review with the Eclipse Foundation for tomorrow, Wednesday. And I think we're looking good there from our contribution questionnaires and the IP reviews. That's looking good. I'm also finding out a few things during this process, the second time going through the process, where we could streamline it a little bit. I'm getting feedback from the people on the IP team at Eclipse and from the PMC, the technology PMC. And basically, I'll just summarize, but I have to get this documented once we figure out the right process. But basically, if we're going to be doing a full release of MicroProfile, so in this case 1.2, then we don't have to do all the individual component releases from an Eclipse standpoint. We can still do the releases to publish them, but we don't have to go through all of the actions. And so that'll simplify it quite a bit if we just limit it to just the MicroProfile level. And then, of course, if an individual component wants to do an interim release before the next MicroProfile release, then they would have to go through the process themselves. But anyway, so I'm getting that feedback, working with the Eclipse Foundation to try to simplify that, and then I'll get that documented. Every time we go through a release, we learn a little bit more, and hopefully it'll just keep getting easier. So that's kind of where we're at from an overall viewpoint. I do see Emily is on, so yeah. We'll probably talk about the fault tolerance.
Yeah, so we are good. We are on track on the fault tolerance. Basically, it's API TCK stack. I'm pretty much, finish. So we expect to maybe have another release candidate, and then we'll call it final. So we had a lot of TCKs, nearly 100 TCK. So that's pretty good. And I think it's we are going well with the fault tolerance, and I think it didn't introduce any other dependencies. So from the CQ point of view, I think it should be straightforward as well. Maybe looks like John is not there, not here, and I can talk about config as well. So for config 1.1 is going well, and John released a couple candidates, and then recently we fixed a couple improved. For the versioning, fixed the versioning or the package versioning, and also improve the beta TCK. And John is going to do another release soon. I think it's from a CQ perspective, it's all clean as well.
Okay. Good.
So I was trying to keep up there. If Emily, if you can go in, if there's any detailed
I will.
Yeah, things you want to provide there.
I will put the note here.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, okay. Did you want you want me to fill in a little bit too there on the 1.2 status, John?
Yeah,
Okay.
if you could.
And then I see Don, maybe you can fill in for Heiko on the metric stuff.
Sure, Kevin. Yeah, so on the metric side, on Friday, we got the first release candidate put up. We're continuing to, I guess, refine on the TCK and parts of the spec that we had to polish still. So we're hoping to have another release candidate tomorrow morning once folks come in on the UK side and are able to review our changes from what we're putting in today. So yeah, that's pretty much where we're at right now. Is just closing off on a few issues that we've still got.
Okay, so I have first release candidate delivered. Hopefully another one tomorrow. Was there anything else? That's my quick notes.
I think that's about
okay.
Right.
All right.
And oh, there's Scott. Okay.
Yep, hello.
Hey, welcome, Scott.
Yeah, I was too busy out on the forums.
So, yeah, Scott, we were just going through the status for MicroProfile 1.2. So if you've got an update on the JWT, and then let's see, you're helping out with health check as well, right?
Yeah, but it looks like Heiko's pretty much done with that. The status on the JWT is that we had a big suite of issues come up over the weekend based on John working on the TCK. I think those are mostly resolved in terms of the major issues. So just mostly TCK and spec work at this point. I'm comfortable with cutting this whenever. I'm going to do another RC probably by end of tonight, and that pretty much should be close to what will be in the final.
Okay, good. No, you missed the very start of it. Items for the overall Eclipse process, those are coming along nicely. We should have a review of it tomorrow. I'm not expecting anything out of the ordinary, so hopefully that we'll get the blessing to go ahead with our releases here in September.
So is there I mean, what exactly is the last step for cutting a final release at this point? I mean, are we going to define a date or?
Well, the individual components, basically we can do that whenever. Whenever, we get the final, vote approval. We should go through the process of posting a vote on the final, just to make sure that, we get sufficient +1s to go along with it. The MicroProfile announcement, I don't think we've finalized on that. We do want to announce something before Java 1 so that we've got something to discuss at Java 1. But I don't have a formal date figured out. I do plan to have a release candidate later today or tomorrow for MicroProfile 1.2 just to get that discussion going as well.
In terms of the release date for 1.2, I noticed an email from David about potentially using Java 1 to get some feedback, in, so that there's an opportunity to incorporate what others might think upon sort of hearing about the latest progress at Java 1. I was just wondering what the thoughts of the group were in that regard, or whether we wanted to be sort of final before Java 1.
Well, my feeling on that is that since Java 1 is really focused on Java EE8, by definition, that effectively is starting the MicroProfile 2.0 code base line. Okay. So, I mean, I feel we should just have a 1.2 final that basically is the Java EE7 based stream because it's going to have a very short lifespan anyway. Because the next major changes will be effectively a round of big incompatible changes focused on Java EE8 plus whatever feedback we have at Java 1. So, I mean,
Sure.
I don't see much point in, delaying 1.2.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. And I guess I have missed David's comment. I'm looking forward
It
to it.
literally came in an hour ago.
What was that,
yeah.
Jonathan?
It landed about an hour ago on the forums.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess I'll just, echo Scott's comments that I just think if we're looking to get more discussion and more comments at Java 1, I think we will be better off to actually have some releases that are defined and, force the conversation that way. I think if we leave it open-ended, then I'm kind of wondering, I don't think we're going to get as much detailed response if
Sure.
we don't close it down and move forward with it. So that's my view. And when I find the note from David, I'll reply that way.
All right, thank you. Appreciate the views. I was just curious as to what the thoughts of others were. Have we pinned down a date at this point? I guess not quite, but we probably need to have a bit of lead time before Java 1 in order to tie everything off.
Right. So I'm waiting a little bit just because of the approval from Eclipse. So we're going to be tied to that. If for some reason we do not get the approval tomorrow, then the next review with Eclipse is September 20th. And then that will leave us about 1 week. If we have to wait until the 20th, then that'll leave us about 1 week before Java 1. So I'm hoping we get it cleared up tomorrow, and then that way we can decide when to announce it.
Oh, another thing is, I think we discussed with a few people, I don't know, on the mailing list, like before we get the Eclipse review, done, completed, the individual specs cannot, claim final release. Basically, they can only release, the individual spec can only release after the Eclipse review has approved everything is fine. So it's basically it's all, yeah. So we need to watch out. I think probably most people get the message.
The other thing I'm thinking of, John, and Cesar, when we announced MicroProfile 1.1 with the new logo, we should have one of these Hangouts defined to be a MicroProfile 1.2 announce, if we get it done. And if I'm looking at the calendar, the next one that would make sense would be on the 19th.
Yeah, and that's someone else may have to lead that and host that, because I will probably not be here that day.
Okay.
So as an FYI, I'll be traveling on business travel.
Okay.
But that being said, I think it's a good idea, just like we did with 1.1. That'll be, holy cow. Is that a 2-month gap or less? No, it's less than a 2-month gap. It feels like between between the two releases, which is impressive. But Cesar, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean it sounds good. The announcement would just be 1.2, right? I mean,
Yeah,
correct.
It was already announced. Okay. Is there anything else we can combine that with on that day besides 1.2? Any other updates or?
No, I mean we'd probably have a short little chart deck where we'd have one chart for each of the components that are going into 1.2.
Okay.
And then, like what we did last time, kind of talk about, well, what's left on our roadmap going forward, to let people know that we are, we continue to have things in our backlog for 1.3 or 2.x.
Okay. Very good. We can reuse some of the slides from 1.1 and then add a few slides for, with 1.2 specific content. What's one? I mean, I can work on that couple of slides, but I would need to know what's going to be included. Who can I work with, or maybe Kevin? I don't know if you want to put those slides together.
Yeah, you can work with me.
Okay.
I can probably draft the first.
Right, because you probably just need what's going to be included in 1.2 besides config. Well, config's already there.
Well, those are the things that we just covered. Well, we haven't finished health check. We just JWT, metrics, fault tolerance.
Okay.
And config 1.1.
So probably we need one slide showing all that, with the tiles, and then a slide per API. I'm thinking just to kind of go over the rationale for each and what it consists of at a high level.
Yep.
That's probably going to be about 5 slides.
Yeah, at some point, people are going to want to know, how can I try this stuff out? What implementations are there of this stuff? Right? How do I, if it's written on paper, that's a good start, but how do I actually use it? And so, understanding that, I think, would be valuable.
Yeah. Now, granted, this is kind of like even the Java EE releases, except for they have a reference implementation, and we've decided not to do reference implementations.
Exactly.
So we kind of have to announce the APIs beforehand. I do know, John Ammett has been very busy with config. Whenever config updates, he gets the Apache version of the implementation up and running very quickly.
Okay.
And I know from talking with the other vendors, I know that we're all working on them, but I don't know the state.
If we'll have, fair.
Whether we'll have, Wildfly or Pyara or Liberty, ready to go, I don't know.
All right, fair point. Okay.
So, I have a word, and it's just an idea. Hello, I just joined later a bit.
Hi.
So from our standpoint, from our point of view, like Pyara already has a MicroProfile 1.1 implementation, but it's not clear, and I think it's shared, the opinion is shared by other implementers. It's not clear how to promote it, like in a unified way, how to make it known. We could talk about maybe during Java 1. I think we don't need to talk about it now. To talk about a common procedure, how to add implementations to a page or to somewhere just to publish. Then anybody could publish their own implementation in a document just with a pull request.
Yeah, one way to do it is, one way we could do it is through our blog site, right? But we have that issue. Well, that is not really an issue. We need to decide who is going to have the maybe it could be one person or a group of people that will be the like the chairperson, and that they can review the blog posts and roll them out into the microprofile.io/blog post site. Last time we tried to put up a blog post, it didn't go up. It was right after the Java EE announcement done by Oracle happened. And so that's one topic of discussion I like to bring up today. If we can make a decision on who, maybe it could be one person or 2 or 3, however many, that would act as the reviewers of blog posts going up and ensuring that the blog posts are put up on microprofile.io.
Okay, so I think we kind of jumped topics there.
Yeah, we did.
Getting back to Andro's comment, I think that's a very good comment, and actually I would like to see a separate page on our microprofile.io site that could then, we could highlight, I don't know, whatever we want to call it, implementations, vendors, or whatever, and allow each of us to update it according to what specs we support with what versions of the software.
Right. That's yeah. That could be that's probably a better way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a Java EE compatibility page, right, where that's done, and so having that page would be useful, and even having it at the spec level, right, not just MP 1.2, but also at the individual spec level. I agree would be very useful.
Yeah, I have a similar idea, and at the moment, actually, in each individual specs, as far as I know, like at least the config, it has listed implementations in that MicroProfile.io, the config specification. We could add like a hyperlink, like you say, Para, and a direct link to Para repo to have the config implementation. And also the Geronimo implementation, we can directly link to that repo. People can, directly go to the repository and to find out the implementation details.
Yeah. So, Andro, with that type of page, is that what you're kind of looking for?
Yes, it's closer to what I was thinking. But also the idea of blogs, it's a separate issue per se, but it also makes sense to accompany any new implementation with a blog post if the implementer wants to promote it more and explain all the extra features they add to it. It's fine, but as a base thing would be to have a single page with all the implementations for MicroProfile itself and also for individual specifications.
So now that's kind of a magic question for updating that MicroProfile.io site. We've tried to make feeding into it easier, but what about creation of new pages? Is that something that anybody on this call knows how to do or could take it back to who can do it?
Well, every time I need to do anything with with the blog site in the past, I had to go through Tommy Tribe. They are the ones that maintain it, yeah, and they know how to make changes to it. So.
I kind of know how the application works because it's based on the older EE Central application. So, for example, when we needed to add the new project, don't remember which one, I knew how to refresh the cache in the application with a special hidden URL. But not everything can be refreshed like this. So some things require a new version of the application to be deployed.
Sorry, Emily, you carry on.
Sorry, can we ask Tom Tribe to, create a wiki or something to give us instructions?
I can certainly go back and ask if that's something that we can do. I'm quite happy if if anybody wants to reach out to me. There are some things I know how to do on the site, and I have the necessary permissions to do. Some stuff I don't, but I'm happy to try and.
As a start, it would be enough to document a list of contacts who are responsible for this and who have the privileges to do the update. So if someone wants to do the update, they can reach out to them.
Okay.
And we can improve on that later.
Another thing for Andrew. Oh, sorry. You go ahead, Jonathan.
No, that was it. I think that's a great idea. Just to get us moving.
Right. Okay. Another thing is I think it is pretty, nicely flow to the conference app. Maybe the other area we can, promote this is update the conference app to because each vendor has implement a MicroProfile such as 1.1, and then they can update their portion of the conference app to demonstrate config and etc. fault tolerance. So So that's way, in that way, like you can see the conference app will be quite nicely plugged in together, and to demonstrate the MicroProfile 1.1, 1.2 features.
Yeah, updating that conference app is something that I know I've been trying to get some of my other team members involved with. And Andro, I know you saw some of the stuff that Andy's been trying to do over the weekend. And so I think that will be worthwhile, and especially as we get more of our implementations available for these individual components, then that'll be worthwhile to have an application to verify it as well as the TCK.
Yeah, we can also use the conference app as a playground to just test release candidates. Anyone can play with the conference app to add new features and test the new API. Even if it's a release candidate, we can have a separate branch just to test these up and use them at conferences just as a preview. It doesn't have to be after the final version of the API is released.
Yep.
Another thing, conference app was created last year for Java 1 with the last year's data. And with for the IP review and etc., all the data being edited. So is that right, Kevin? So the data is not real. The attendees' details are being edited for the IP purpose.
Yeah, all
for the Java
of
1.
the data. Yeah, all of the data has been cleaned up. I still have an issue open to try to consolidate some of the data because we've got like 3 different copies of it that are used by different testing aspects of our components. But they've all been cleaned up. So all of the Java 1 specific data has been removed with, bogus information, made up names, made up conferences, made up abstracts, all of that stuff.
This is just a wild thinking for me. Will it be possible, like this year, we could use this conference app to donate some portion of this to be used by Java 1 this year? Like the people, like attendees and speakers, and the attendee can use this conference app to do the vote and etc. Probably a lot of effort. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure we're too late for this year, but maybe we should keep it in mind.
Yeah.
There's not enough time probably. But
Exactly.
if someone has time, I think we don't have to commit everything into the repo, and anyone can update the data and show it on conferences. It doesn't have to be the same data that is in the repository, because obviously the data can't be committed if they are not donated. But you can use any kind of data you want if you want to present. And later, maybe I remember the effort to encourage some conferences to donate data. I don't think that anyone responded to this, but do you think it would be worth to ask some conference organizers if they want to participate? Was there any issue, or it was just no one really responded to this?
Yeah, no one really responded to it. So that's when I decided, okay, we just got to. I mean, the Eclipse IP review forced me to do it, and I couldn't wait any longer, so I just went with the dummy information. But yeah, if we could get something that would be
my question, just to refine my question. So if I know some conference organizers, is it still worth to approach them and ask them to donate some data?
Certainly, because I think it's I think it's it makes the application a little more real. If people recognize
sure.
it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think it'd still be worthwhile if we could.
Addresses, credit card numbers,
Yeah.
Mother's maiden name. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. Okay. So, are we okay with this topic?
I think so.
I'm not sure. Going back to the meeting notes, if we ever got a status update on health check.
Well, Heiko's not on. I mean, my understanding is that he's defined his 1.0 release, and it's
Okay.
it's there. You know, what's there is there. What's there is going to be 1.0. So the current release candidate is 1.0. I mean, the only change I've seen recently is there was an update to the, some TCK stuff, but just tests. As far as I know, it's a done deal.
Okay. All right. Awesome. One thing I thought I'd bring up, because there's a deadline here, the Eclipse newsletter. So this kind of snuck up on me. So I owe an article for the Eclipse newsletter, and it's in the Google Groups. In fact, what I'll do here is I'll paste a link. Copy it. I'll paste a link into the chat, and then I'll also update the meeting notes. Was basically a summary by Cesar of who's kind of on the hook for what. Yeah, sorry, I was looking for the word. So I am Scott Stark. I saw you post the thread to the group. Heiko, who's not on, is on the hook for metrics. And then someone from Pyara has already committed to an article. Do we know who and what the topic is?
All right. So, anybody from Pyara on the phone? Because Dominica from Pyara, she's the one that mentioned that. So, I'm not sure.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
give status on that because it's been written, and she sent it over to me earlier today to review it, make sure spelling is all right and everything. So we are still waiting for, because the article itself is like an interview with each person who was on the stage at Red Hat's Dev Nation last year. I think we still don't have question answers from Tommy Tribe yet, but I think those are pending. I think they're going to try and get those over to us as soon as they can. I'm not too sure exactly. But yeah, so Cesar, it's basically done. So we can at least get a first draft over to you probably tomorrow.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Unfortunately, there's nobody from Eclipse on the call, but Roxanne from Eclipse, she's the one that is basically, tracking the progress and coordinating this effort.
Yeah, I think Dominica's plan anyway for that was to have that finished and over to her by tomorrow.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, Roxanne, emailed me to ask me the couple articles. I'm working on them, and we try to get back to her by Thursday.
Very good. The more the better, yeah.
All right, sorry, I missed Tommy Tribe. I got the Pyara one.
Anybody? I don't think there's anybody from Tommy Tribe on the call, right?
Oh, there wasn't.
Yeah.
So
there was Jonathan.
I'm here. I'm chasing that up for you at the minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have config and fault tolerance. I will post on the chat.
Okay. Very good.
All right. Sorry for that slight digression there into something that wasn't on the agenda.
Okay. And the deadline is when again? I forgot about the deadline.
Thursday.
2 days from now, yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. September 7th.
Which means I better start typing.
All right.
Cesar, for the Java 1, so the Java 1 like a coordination effort, you created a spreadsheet, right?
Yes. You
Can
mean for the surround event?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you? Who else can edit that
Right. So the deadline to submit names for that was last week, and I submitted the names already, and I understand most of the folks already got their invites. I'm trying to track. There's a couple of folks that have mentioned they have not gotten it yet. Alice there is one of them, and I think the reason is, yeah, Alice there Nottingham. I think he said,
Yep.
Did he get one or not? Kevin, do you know?
No, he didn't. That's what I was going to ask you about.
Right. So yeah, and I just checked the email, and so the list that was submitted was with an email ID, a Gmail email ID of his, and then when he sent me an email saying, "Hey, I haven't gotten my invite," he's using an Apache email. So I just asked him, "Hey, have you checked your inbox on your Gmail account before I resubmit your name?" So I'm waiting for him to answer that. Do you have him on same time right now? Can you ask him?
Yeah, how do you know about same time? I'll do that.
Yeah. Well, I used to work for IBM, right?
I know. I was joking about
Okay,
it.
I thought you were okay. He's in UK, so I'm not sure he may be in bed already, but
No, he's actually in Toronto now.
oh, okay. Permanently?
Yes.
Oh, good for him. Yeah, if he's on, yeah, ping him real quick, yeah. Sorry, Emily, go ahead.
Can you?
Yeah, so Emily. Okay, so to answer your question, so the list was submitted last week, and then a day after, I got some folks saying, "Hey, we forgot to add some more name." Okay, so I submitted a second batch, and I'm hoping that those people already got their invites. And now some people have, like Alice there, I think Steve that is on the phone also mentioned that he didn't get his invite.
No,
Emily,
I didn't get one.
yeah. So Emily, you want to be included. So I'm gonna send a third batch. I was hoping to do it today, but I want to hear from Alice there first before I send the third batch. I want to minimize the number of batches that I send to Oracle.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't go out today, Emily, your name will go out tomorrow. And I'm sending you your IBM user email, by the way. And Steve, just to double check your email, you are Steve Dodd, MILLIDGE@payara.fish.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and that's the email I sent to begin with. I'm not sure why you didn't get one. And also I'm going to send, so the people that I have for the fourth batch, and hopefully the last batch, are Amy Krofsik from IBM, Steve and Julia Millage from Payara, Emily from IBM, and Alice there from IBM if he needs to, if he confirms that he hasn't gotten one. And that should be
Alistair. Yeah, Alistair still, he checked his Gmail and he doesn't have one.
Okay, so let me just check real quick. Make sure that, where do I need to go? I need to go here. I need to go here. Just 1 second. Was there this one here? Okay, so the one the email that I sent that he had and I sent was alistair.nottingham@gmail.com. Oh, do you want? Could you ask him if he wants me to? What email does he want me to use? IBM or the Apache one? Because he sent me an email from the Apache, his Apache account, which is not at apache.org. And will you hear back from him? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think the easiest way would just be use his IBM address. So that's alistair@us.ibm.com. I'll put it into the chat.
Please, yeah, so I don't get any misspellings. And Emily, for you, I have EMI jiang@uk.ibm.com.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Okay, good. So let me copy and paste this right here. Copy and paste. There we go. Okay, so I'll send the last batch hopefully after this call. So while we're on the topic, I guess I can give you an update on the Surround event. Let's see. So all the names have been submitted. Hopefully, everyone got their invitations. Now, remember, the invitations don't come from Oracle. They come from Eventbrite.
Yep.
So if you see an email that says Eventbrite, don't delete it. That's the invitation. What else? So everyone in the list should get an invitation. I think it's about, we're in the mid-30s from MicroProfile that are being invited to the Thirsty Bear Surround event on Sunday, October 1st from 8 to 10. Let's see. So that's about the Surround event. I put on some notes here.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I just saw something. Have Alistair and folks try and check their spam folder.
Yep.
Right. I wonder if some of the stuff is going to spam.
He's been doing that too.
Okay. All right.
Okay, good. All right. So let me check the. So let's see. So all the companies, all the partner companies that are planning on buying swag, are in the process or have already placed their orders. We're gonna have a collection, a combination of T-shirts and hoodies with a very nice logo, the new logo on them. Let's see. One question that I have is about the conference demo. We need to have it ready, or a recording of it ready for the MicroProfile pedestal at the Eclipse booth. And I believe Kevin, Amy had reached out to you to see if you can coordinate that.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm coordinating it, but yes, she did.
Well, let me put it this way. Last year, how did you guys? Who coordinated the whole effort last year? To put the conference demo together, and I saw a video of you guys demoing it together. I think it was a DevOps conference.
Yeah, I don't know that. I mean, I guess I tried to get all of the different components to write their parts, but it was people from our IBM UK office that was actually trying to pull all of them together.
Okay.
So it would have been like maybe, Ross have it, but he isn't around anymore.
Mm-hmm. And the idea is to recreate that thing, what you guys did again,
right?
Right. And I wasn't sure. I for some reason I wasn't in the impression that you were kind of like the point of contact that took care of all that last year. But if it's not you,
not specifically, but I'm working with them to try to figure it out.
Okay. Yeah. So, and I'm not sure if we want to include config to it, because I mean we're less than a month away from the conference. So if we could include config in it, that'd be great. At least in one of the implementations. I don't think we'll have one in Wildfly Swarm, will we, John? By Java 1?
No, not by Java 1.
Right. So maybe, I don't know if Tommy Tribe or IBM, if you guys have a config implementation, maybe that part of the demo would be executed by you guys.
Yeah, we're making updates to that demo. That's the first thing, is to get config in there, because we know that's part of 1.1, which has already been released. And then we're looking at trying to update it for the other pieces that are coming in 1.2 as well.
Okay, so So is it okay then if we leave that with you, or do you want to find someone else to lead the effort?
Well, for now, I think it's okay. I mean, I'm going to be
Okay.
pushing to try and get something running.
Okay.
I think the biggest issue, just because we're so late with specifications
Right.
and with the release, trying to get implementations lined up is going to be tough. But if anybody on the call, or that sees the minutes, if they've got early releases, betas of any of this technology, I mean,
Right.
we'll speak up, kind of like what Andra was talking earlier with the conference app. We can have multiple branches working with different versions of the software.
So
we can update our service to config 1.1, probably for Java 1. I don't think we'll have any other specifications in place. Pyro Micro currently supports MicroProfile 1.1, so we can take our service and bring it up to that level.
So we just need one implementation, right, to demo, whether it's IBM or Pyara or anybody else.
We could do config. We won't be able to do any others.
I think each individual, because the conference app has 4 portions, like a vote service and speaker and schedule. So like IBM, because the vote service run on Liberty, and if IBM, if we update the vote service and to demonstrate the config, so that person at least can demonstrate config on Liberty. Similarly, I can't remember which part of the conference app demonstrate Pyara. Maybe that portion can be updated to demonstrate.
I think it's schedule, but I think Cesar is might be kind of lost here, so I'll try to explain. The conference app is composed of 5 components. Out of them, 4 of them are MicroProfile Java components, and each of them is running by default on a different implementation. So basically, the idea was that.
Thank you, Andre.
I'm
familiar with the conference app. Yes.
Okay, so each component, each service can be updated to a different level of microprofile depending on the implementation is running on.
Right. So last year, what I saw a video that you guys put together. Is a video that was taken during a conference where all the companies were on the stage, and each company was executing a specific service, microservice of the conference app, right?
That was not Java 1.
Oh, well, whatever.
I think it was Devox in Belgium.
Okay, yeah.
What I have in mind is, can we just add one implementation? I mean, pick one vendor and have that vendor do config and add it to that demo?
I think we should try. Yeah. I think it's.
But just pick one vendor. I mean, not every single vendor has to do it for Java 1.
Yeah, basically, for Pyara, the schedule service can be updated. I think Liberty Profile also supports config 1.0. So in that case, it's probably the vote service. These 2 services can be safely updated to MicroProfile 1.1. And in any case, I think there's also a build profile that runs all the services on Liberty Profile. So yeah, basically any service can be updated, but then it wouldn't run on the default implementation. But with these 2 services, it can be safely updated.
Does that make sense, Kevin, Emily, everybody, or not? I mean, do we have time to have a demo? We want to have a demo, right? Or a recorded demo at least at the Eclipse booth, MicroProfile booth, to show people.
Yeah, we should aim for it.
Now, this came up in a call maybe a month ago. Whether to have a recorded demo or an actual demo that to show people. And I think, Kevin, you were a proponent of having a live demo, and which I'm not sure if it's going to be more complicated for someone to demo on their own, to have a live demo.
The reason, from my perspective, from an IBM perspective, the reason I said live is because, we're trying to get some version of these individual components up and running by Java 1. And they may not be final, they may be beta, but we'd like to get them up and running, but that would be all Liberty. So even though it would still be nice to promote the microprofile technology, I don't want it to come across that, Liberty is the only answer. So that's why I was thinking live, because we would probably do it at the IBM booth. But if you're looking for something at the Eclipse booth, then, maybe that is something where we need to demonstrate multiple implementations. If we could show that config, we have one both from Liberty and from Pyara, at least it shows that we've got multiple vendors working on it.
I see what you're saying.
We could get a config 1.1 by then, no problem, because it's a small update from where we are now.
Right.
And we can update that service to somehow put some config in there. I haven't looked at the service for a year, but we could do that.
All right, so why don't we shoot for that then? Let's have, and I think a recorded demo would be best, because we're gonna have to. There's already a schedule posted in our public site, and we're looking for SMEs to be at the Eclipse MicroProfile booth to talk to folks that come up to the booth and want to know what MicroProfile is about, and maybe take that opportunity to demo, to run the recorded demo, and talk about it. So if we can have a recorded demo from IBM I guess we can just to make it simple, of the config from IBM and the config from Pyara, and I don't know if it makes sense to also have the full conference demo, like a recorded version of it, where all the vendors participate in there as well. What do you think?
It's just it all comes down to a matter of time, Cesar.
Right.
As far as trying to find time to actually record all of it, and having, if you wanted something new and updated from the one that was done last year at DevOps, that takes time. So I just don't know if we have time to do all the videos when we're still trying to get all the individual specs done too. So.
I know, it's like everything is come together at the same time.
Well, we could always show the 1.0, right, still, if we need to, right, and say 1.1, right, has a configuration API. It's not in the demo, but the spec is out there. There's implementations we can point people to, and then in the booth talk to MicroProfile 1.2 as well. By the way, do you have a sign-up sheet for booth duty?
Yes, it's. Let me put the link on the.
I know everybody was dying to see that.
Yeah, hold on. Where is it? Right here. Share. Copy link. That. There. So that shows Monday through Wednesday, and the hours where the booth will be open. And we basically need volunteers for all those times. Not just the blue. I don't know why. Yeah. Never mind the volunteer name in blue. I think we need. The reason that Teresa put these in blue is because she was thinking that these are the high traffic times. But I think we need SMEs through the whole. The whole time the booth is open. That's my thinking.
So how many do you need?
We need Monday, 10 to 12, 12 to 2, and 2 to 5. and Tuesday.
Yeah, is how many per slot?
I'm sorry.
It's how many volunteers? Like from 10 to 12. Just one.
At least one, yeah. Someone that can talk to MicroProfile and go through the demo and talk to somebody. Explain them,
Right.
what it is.
Dominica in Pyara is organizing our schedules for Java 1, so she should be able to coordinate, put some people into certain slots.
Yeah, and I know, I mean, Tommy Trevor is doing the same thing. I have to help not just on Java 1, but also on Oracle Open World, on the Red Hat booths, and then also the MicroProfile booth. So I'm going to have to like triplicate myself somehow.
The other thing that has come up is the idea of the idea. There's the Hacker Garden that the JCP sponsors, and I was asked by Heather whether or not we wanted to sign up for any time slots there for MicroProfile. That might be worthwhile. I reached out to Linda DeMichael because she has several slots for Java EE8, and I was wondering. I said, well, how do you do this Hacker Garden? I've never participated in it. And she said, really, it's just to show up and allow people to ask questions. So it's kind of like another booth that you could go that's more dedicated on certain topics. So I was wondering if maybe we should sign up for a couple of slots for MicroProfile on that as well.
Yeah, and this is during Java 1, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, another thing that Kevin. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead. I mean, do you have a copy of the schedule and the open?
Yes.
Can you post that?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Emily.
Sorry. I think on the same topic is Heather also recommended, because we submitted or talked about config JSR. She also like recommend we go there to socialize like config JSR as well.
Yeah.
By the way, I apologize. I'm gonna do a time check here. We're past the top of the hour by a minute. So just to be respectful of everyone's time here, is it okay if we can maybe finish some of this stuff off onto the Google groups?
Just before I hang up, Kevin, can you just post in the Google group the schedule and the little a little tidbit on what you just said about that hacker whatever?
Hacker Garden.
Yep.
Hacker group, yeah, and people can start signing up.
Isn't that a band?
Sounds like a pretty good thing for us to do. And thanks for the update on Alice there, Kevin.
Yep.
Yeah, and I apologize. I meant to give like a 5 or 10 minute heads up to everyone that we're approaching the top of the hour, and I got to looking at the schedule.
I'm going to remove Alice there from the last batch that I'm going to send later. All right, good. Any questions about Java 1 marketing? Okay.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Let's continue the conversation in the Google groups. And this time in 2 weeks, I think we're going to be having kind of an MP 1.2 launch. And Cesar, I'll work with you on making sure that everything's set up from a Blue Jeans perspective.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. I don't think there's anything you have to do, but okay. All right.
Well,
thanks.
yeah, I got to work with Kevin on the new slides.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Bye.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.